Hey, I'm live again. What to do is difficult times. We experienced 2020 and people were massively living in difficult times. We are again in difficult times in 2026. But I have dealt with difficult times all of my life. When I was 6, I was left with my aunt because my parents were so poor. They cannot live in the city, so they left me with richer relatives to take care of me, so I could go to good school in the big city. I think that was a mistake. My aunt physically abused me, emotionally abused me. She used me as free labor. I worked at her, I guess, food stand in the morning. No pay, basically free labor, no salary. And then when her son steals her customers' money, she beat me for 3 or 4 hours. I don't know. It was like half a day. I finally admitted to stealing her money to make the pain and the beating stop. But she didn't stop there. She wanted to know where I spend the money. So she takes me to the market and walk down the street and make me point out who I give the money to. And I was only 6 or 7 at that time. So I point at random vendor, and of course they deny that they took my money or I spent money there. So I don't know how to end, but it was a very horrific day dealing with tyrants. All of the people who have to face the reign of terror today, I had to face that when I was 6 or 7. I had no father or mother to support me then. It was just me versus the aunt, the uh, the abuser. So fast forward to 2026, I faced a lot. In 2013, I already faced something similar where the American accused me of being a Chinese spy. They accused me of fleeing to China to sell secrets. And of course, they don't have the courage and the balls to do this to my face. And they don't have the legal ground to do this in a court of law. So they just detained me illegally for 4 months. They didn't let me leave the military base until I essentially told them that this was going to end badly. I was ready to kill everyone that I worked for. So this is the Patrick Air Force Base, U.S. Air Force Technical Application Center. Look it up. This is an interesting place and interesting people. The people who kill at least an American every year, but you never hear about this. They almost killed me, and you haven't heard about it. So I'm gonna make sure that the world knows about this. They try to kill me, and they fail. And if one day I decided to do something about it, the world should understand that I have a very legitimate cause. Correct? But anyway, this is not about me. It's about dealing with hard time. I think at least 50% of the people in the U.S. are dealing with this now. It's no longer just me. It's every American now. And most of the world already experienced this in 2010, post 2008. A lot of crack in the system have appeared, and a lot of people were suffering. The U.S., have a big buffer, so they feel it last. But in any case, we're here now where there is no country in the world that does not feel the squeeze, the difficult times. So, what is a person to do when it's so difficult, so chaotic? You have no one protecting you. The laws are against you. Your own government is against you. I studied this for at least 10 years. But if we calculate this from the time I was 6, we're looking at 40 years of deep meditation on these issues. How to deal with the situation where the war is against you, authority is against you. I think most people commit suicide. The fact is, when it's too painful, you have to escape, and to defeat the empire, it's too difficult. So most people just commit suicide and take the escape route. I don't think we should consider that insanity. I think that's a pretty sane option. The option to continue living under the boots of your perpetrator, your rapist, no chance of rising up. It doesn't have any sense to it, right? To live in suffering like that, and then to fabricate an illusion where it's not suffering, that God want you to suffer because God love you. That don't make sense to me. So, how did I survive when most of the white American committed suicide at the U.S. Air Force Technical Application Center? I have the audacity to fight back. You know, when Obama wrote the book for Audacity of Hope, I thought it read really great, but how come it doesn't produce results? A better explanation is that Obama was a charlatan. He pretended to represent the minority and the rebel, but he's actually working for the white people. He represents white power. He wants everybody to buy hope. You know, hope is good. It allows you to continue fighting a cause that has no hope. But hope alone doesn't change anything. You gotta have the audacity to stand up and fight. And fighting doesn't have a shallow meaning like go out and beat people up, carry a gun. It's not like that. Fighting means trying to build the reality that you deserve and you want. And I think Putin kind of said this best, right? If the war, if the future of the war doesn't include Russia, what worth is that war to a Russian, right? So if the U.S. wanted to destroy Russia and Russia's defense is to use nukes, and if Russia use nuke, that really escalate and equates to ending the war and ending Russia's. But if Russia doesn't do it, there is no Russia. So then the logic makes sense to me that hey, if the war is going to eliminate me, what good is that war to me? So for me as an individual, I have been spending 40 years on this issue, and between me and the U.S. Air Force, it's been 10 years. I have a lot of time to think about this. This is not me being upset and talking about it. This is me having a deep understanding of the dilemma, the issues surrounding the rebels and the empire. The Star Wars trilogy, people watch it, but I don't think many people understand the deep message, and then even less people live it. It's not really about revolution. It's not really about taking down a government. It's about fighting for what is correct, fighting for what should be fought for. A world where you are allowed to live, a world for yourself. Almost like a Zionist thing, right? So I look toward the Zionists and Israel for some model as well, even though I don't agree with what they're doing, but what they did was really worth studying. How did a group of diasporic Jew build Israel and then convince the biggest empire in the world to subsidize their existence? And then now Israel basically control the U.S. I think that's a pretty great achievement. So I'm thinking, why not everybody just copy Israel? So imagine that all of the groups in the world, have the same capacity and capability as Israel. Russia, Chinese, the Hmong people, African. Why not? If Israel can do it, you can too, right? Take control of the U.S., point the barrel of the gun at people you don't like. Uh, Take whatever you want. I mean, this is great achievement. I just don't like to be on the receiving end of it. And to make a better world, you're gonna need to accept the fact that no one else will stand up for you. So you have to stand up for yourself. And if the whole world wants you to die, do you have the audacity to say, "Well, fuck the war"? Uh, it's not really a dumb opinion. This is the truth of existence. If the world wants you to die for no reason, just because you were born with the brown skin or slanted eye or short hair or long hair or curly hair, Should you die so that the world could live in their deluded happiness? Or should you end the whole world so that you can live and exist? Based on the ultimate understanding of reality, your existence is supreme. The biggest driver for your existence is to survive, whether you're a dog, a cat, or human. You know, dogs and cats don't have an issue and don't have depression because they don't doubt this. But human, they were brought up to doubt their instinct, their infinite wisdom. As a child, as a human growing up, if no one interfere with your development, you will value your existence and you will fight for your existence. But somehow, through education, we have been trained to doubt that we have the right to exist. We have been trained to doubt our right to defend ourselves, and we keep looking toward theory. You don't need any theory. You can just go back to the understanding of the dogs or the cat. If you're as stupid as a dog and as stupid as a cat, you wouldn't have a lot of issues with depressions. As human, we don't have to limit our understanding to a dog and a cat, but we should not be less intelligent, right? So to be more intelligent, we have to take what the animals already know, which is survival, and we built on that. We don't discard that. As human, we don't want to discard the animal instinct, which is survive. If I'm going to die, I'm going to take down as many people as I can. And animals behave this way. I think when a lion is surrounded by hyenas, even in that losing battle, he does everything he can. He try to take down as much as he can. And when you corner a dog usually don't attack human, but like if you corner a dog, they fight back, even though they realize they don't want to, but they have to. And for human, the audacity to fight back is what made me survive. When the U.S. Air Force surrounded me and accused me of, well, they didn't accuse me; they just fucking detained me, and they secretly walk around and tell other people that I was fleeing to China to sell top secret information. Well, I couldn't fight the U.S. Air Force. I was a single Vietnamese in a place where it's filled with white people and people who support white supremacy. Patrick Air Force Base, right? It's basically the headquarters for the KKK. And not really, but that's how I view it. And that's how they behave. So that's how I will label and view them. So, how was I to fight that? I have to accept death. Do you understand? If you cannot accept your death, you cannot walk your path. And in this time of hardship, people just have to go back to the basic understanding. Why are we here? Is your neighbor more important, or is the guy in Washington D.C. more important? And for all of the sheriff and police, is your community more important to you than the people from the so-called federal government that comes by and terrorize your own people? I think this is a lack of understanding of life and humanity in itself. Regardless if you're selfish and you are like have no sense of morality, just for your pure interest, um, allying with your community is a lot safer than allying with the invader. This has been proven throughout history. If you help the invader terrorize your community, there are some really simple outcome. You win, and then if you win, you get to live with the people who terrorize your community. You may not understand this, but your community mean your mom, your brother, your sister, and your children. You are essentially fighting so that your family can live under this terrorist. Okay. And if you lose, guess what? You are going to be living as the traitor. You betray your family, you betray your community. What kind of life will you have? No one likes a fucking traitor. I don't. Putin don't. Xi Jinping don't. Any man with value would hate you because you betray your family your community for a paycheck. That's a horrible existence. If you're gonna sell your soul for a few dollars, you should probably ask for trillions of dollars, like Elon Musk. You don't want to sell your soul for $40,000 a year. You don't want to sell your soul for $4,000 a month. It's not worth it. What kind of life will you have when you finally win this war? What kind of life will you have if you lose this war? At least with honorable people, when they lose a war, they are still respected by the winning side, right? It's called honor. Uh, People have respect for honorable men, but not a lot of respect for dishonorable men. So in this time of hardship, I think the best thing to do is just to look back at where you come from, protect and defend the people closest to you, your family, the people who live next to you. A lot of the fancy theory like racism, white, Asian, like none of those are like real. They were invented about 100 years ago, but 1,000 years ago, there's no such thing as white, Caucasian. There's no such thing as Asians like 1,000 years ago. The Roman people, they call them Roman. The Greek, they call themselves Hellenists. The Chinese, they call themselves Horan. None of this Asian shit really exists. None of this white Caucasian really exists. So think past all of this stupid label and all of this stupid education that you receive. Learn to go back to the basic truth of existence itself. Defend yourself, defend your family, defend your neighbor against foreign invader. And it's pretty sad that the foreign invader is actually American. It's fucking sad that American is fighting against Americans, but it's not really your doing. But now you have to respond because you're involved now, because you failed to support me in 2013. So now you and your children has to deal with this.